The American people are angry at President Biden for his handling of the Chinese spy balloon. China is mad at Biden for his handling of the spy balloon. The White House tried to create lies and made up stories in order to cover their tracks and save face. The U.S. economy is surprisingly strong, and President Obama's former Homeland Security advisor says the problem at the southern border is worse than you can ever imagine. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out as a small news channel here on YouTube. Also, make sure to check out the link for the $10,000 giveaway Casey and I are doing to say thank you for helping get this channel to over 1 million subscribers. Sadly, there has been an earthquake near the Turkey-Syria border. At least 2,500 people are believed to be dead, and the country is working frantically to save as many survivors as they can. So send prayers and energy towards that part of the world. Very sad to wake up this morning to that news. Now, for the first time in what seems like a couple of years, the U.S. economy is looking really good. The stock market is up from its recent lows, and optimism seems to be increasing as the Federal Reserve acknowledges that we might not have a severe recession in 2023. In fact, former President Donald Trump's economic advisor stated the following: "I think that people have been really worried about a recession in the first and second quarter of this year. I think that we've seen this week with both Chairman Powell's announcement and the data and unemployment, I think that recession is off the table for Q1 and Q2 of this year." So in a world full of chaos, hopefully this is one thing off our plate that we can say, okay, maybe there won't be a severe recession and we can move forward and continue to improve in other parts of our lives and the country. President Joe Biden finally decided it was time to shoot down the Chinese spy balloon after it hovered across the entire United States, collecting data. China has responded by calling the attack an indiscriminate use of force because they claim the balloon was civilian in nature. President Biden ordered the Pentagon to scramble jets, and it was able to be shot down with one shot. China's vice foreign minister has accused the United States of breaking international law and not dealing with China in good faith. But then again, China was busted not long ago in Houston, Texas, for literally having spies at their American consulate. So can you really blame us for worrying about an EMP bomb, a virus, collecting data, collecting national security information, military data? This was all the worry that was going through Americans' minds. So President Biden faces intense criticism for failing to act on a national security threat that drifted over the United States, collecting sensitive data. In a desperate bid to shift blame from Biden to anyone else, a mysterious defense official appeared on Fox News alleging that China had sent spy balloons previously over America during the Trump presidency. But former President Trump vehemently denies the claim, insisting that China respected the United States during his time in office. The defense officials countered that Trump was simply unaware of China's actions. Now, with accusations flying back and forth, the truth remains somewhat shrouded and doubtful. It does seem that Washington, D.C. is using smoke and mirror tricks to try to throw us off what's really going on. In fact, Esper, John Bolton, and Mike Pompeo have all gone on the record that no balloons from China flew across the United States during Trump's time in office, or if they did, the Pentagon purposely withheld this information, which is a huge security violation. Now, John Bolton, this Trump-hating former national security advisor, was stunned that the Biden administration would invent a lie about China spy balloons during the Trump era, and said that this was a huge failure on the Biden White House trying to throw Trump under the bus. Now, again, John Bolton hates Trump's guts, but as a national security advisor, he's saying this is a lie of a story. It's also come out that the White House knew about the balloon for nearly a week But before they publicly recognized it, they allowed it to go across the entire United States. Now, President Biden said he wanted to shoot it down immediately, but then he said he waited on purpose. Then he said he essentially got permission from China. Now China's saying, we never gave you permission and told you not to shoot it down. So truthfully, it seems the White House is trying to walk back this story or deceive the American people. Either way, based on the articles and the polling data out there, the American people feel like this was a national security issue and that this balloon was given permission to fly across the entire United States, collecting data until it could be shot down. Now, this and other events like Ukraine and Afghanistan might be giving Donald Trump a leg up. A recent poll suggested that most Americans believe that Biden's first few years in office were uneventful. The poll was conducted by the Washington Post and ABC News and showed that 62% of people believed Biden has not achieved much as president of the United States. Now, shockingly, 39% of those 62% believe he's done nothing good for the country. Like, those are really, really big numbers. I believe he's done stuff for the country, but most of the country is not seeing it. Now, former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett stated that he asked Russian President Vladimir Putin point blank if the point of all of this invasion was to take out President Volodymyr Zelensky. Bennett claimed that Putin said he has no plans to take out Zelensky and that he does not have personal bad feelings towards Zelensky. But critics are pointing out that Putin's not exactly the most trustworthy person, and so Zelensky should not let his guard down when it comes to this Russian invasion. Now, as Ukraine continues to build their connections with other nations, Russia is also building out partnerships at an alarming rate. New reports indicate that Russia is building a new production facility for Iranian-designed drones that could increase Russia's output to over 6,000. Now, this would give Russia a huge leg up because they've had incredible success when it comes to attacking Ukraine with these drones. And yet the Ukrainian army has also done a spectacular job of defending itself against these Iran-built suicide drones. So anyway, Russia may be getting a significant new batch of these drones from this new facility. Now, some in Washington, D.C. are starting to sour on President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris's approach to the open border crisis along Texas and the Arizona border. In fact, 77 Democrat lawmakers have written President Biden a letter right before his State of the Union address to tell him that he must discuss this and he must come up with a border plan that protects the United States of America. After all, he's president, and this is one of his official duties. Now, former President Barack Obama's top border czar and Homeland Security head, Jay Johnson, has publicly condemned Biden's handling of the southern border. He says this situation is out of control. It's much bigger and much worse than when President Obama and I were in office dealing with the southern border. In fact, Senator Mendez of New Jersey said Biden is duty-bound to come up with legal solutions to help those with real asylum issues and those that have illegally entered our country. So they're basically coming out saying, listen, if you don't want to go back to the way Trump did it, at least go back to the way President Obama was handling the border with Jay Johnson as the Department of Homeland Security head. Now, I want to transition and tell you about a stock company that I believe has incredible upside opportunity. Not long ago, I told you about a uranium stock that hit pay dirt, and this uranium stock shot up over 400% and attracted retail investors. Well, I've been doing some research because I wanted to tell you about another uranium stock that hasn't gone through this big run-up yet, but I believe will based on the area they're digging in and the fact that billionaire Eric Sprott just gave them funding and bought shares in the company. The company is Traction Uranium, and their ticker symbol is TRCTF. You can find them on most major trading platforms. Did you know that the uranium market needs to more than double in the next few decades if it's going to keep up with the demand for nuclear power? In fact, 20% of Americans receive electricity here in the United States because of nuclear energy power plants. And the United States has committed to building 2 new state-of-the-art plants over the next couple of years. But they are going to be competing with Russia and China and India for uranium and also nuclear energy. China plans to build 17 new state-of-the-art nuclear reactors. India will create 6 new ones, and all these other countries combined are going to make the uranium industry explode as people have demand for this incredible rare earth mineral. Now, it's great to see the world moving towards a reliable, clean energy source with new state-of-the-art plants. However, right now, the United States is at a major disadvantage. In fact, it could be a national security risk where we're getting most of our uranium from Putin and Russia. And last I checked, we don't have the best relationship with them, right? So cutting off our uranium could be a disaster for national security, energy prices, and our military. Imagine if we couldn't get access to uranium. This is why Traction Uranium is moving quickly on their 2 big projects in the Athabasca region. This region is known for being rich in uranium, and the Canadian government is fully supportive of mining in the area and trading this rare earth element with the United States because of our agreement with Canada. So Canada could be the saving grace of the United States energy situation here in the very near future. Imagine if 20% of you suddenly had your power bill go up because they shut down nuclear or we couldn't get uranium. Now, Traction Uranium is about to start drilling on these 2 projects. And typically when we see rare earth mineral stocks jump, it's because they make an announcement that they've just hit pay dirt. So these guys are about to start the digging portion and letting us know the findings of that first dig. Now, not only does Traction Uranium have incredible management, but their geologists and their technical analysts have a rich history of successful exploration. In fact, Dr. Bowen Tan discovered a dig site with close to 200 million pounds of uranium, and it made that other company a fortune. He's on the board, and he's out digging on behalf of Traction Uranium right now. So Traction Uranium is owned by 55% of the owners. So that's the biggest group that has ownership in this stock, which means they have money in the game, time in the game, skin in the game. The other 30% is owned by billionaire Eric Sprott, Canaccord Genuity, a big fund in Canada, and Research Capital. So that makes up 85% of who owns this stock, and they're holding on to that because when this does hit pay dirt, boom, they're all going to make a lot of money. So you're going to want to do your research on this company and do it fast because they're going to be releasing those dig results very soon. Could be a really, really good opportunity. Now, again, the ticker symbol is TRCTF, and the company is Traction Uranium, and I want to thank them for partnering on this video, so go check them out. Hey, lots going on in the country, right? I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Don't forget that you are amazing. I really appreciate you stopping by today, and I will see you on the next video.